Hey everyone, Modern Masters 2017 is releasing this weekend, and you know what that means. Tarmogoyf staying under $100 each. But more importantly, there are going to be more Modern Masters drafts than you can shake a stick at. So naturally, that means it's time for our draft guide. We're going to tell you everything you need to know about drafting this limited run set. Before we do that, however, be sure to click the first link in the description to win one of these beautiful Aaron Kane wooden deck boxes and a booster box of Aether Revolt. Tolarian Community College and the Mana Source are giving them away. All you have to do is be subscribed and click the first link in the description. Super easy. Alright, let's get this done. Like past Masters installments, Modern Masters 2017 comes with a heavy focus on limited play, which means that there are clear archetypes supported in the set. And while you can obviously put something together that isn't directly supported by the set, it's going to be much easier to fall into one of the established strategies the set is designed to prop up. In the case of Modern Masters 2017, the established strategies are the allied color pairs, and unlike standard legal sets, you really don't have to dig that deep to find the synergies. We'll begin with White-Blue Blink. The goal of this archetype is to draft a lot of creatures that rely on Enter the Battlefield abilities, and then spells that blink them, triggering their Enter the Battlefield ability again. You'll want to look for creatures like Core Hookmaster, Master Splicer, Mist Raven, and Wing Splicer. These are some of the more powerful non-rare blink creatures. Along with these blink-friendly creatures, you actually have to draft the cards that trigger them. Luckily, there are many of them, and most of them are common, so they shouldn't be too difficult to grab. Momentary Blink, Ghostly Flicker, Familiar's Ruse lets you recast for another end of the battlefield trigger, Core Skyfisher, same thing. You have plenty of depth in the Blink department. If that isn't enough for you, there's also Mist Meadow Witch and Deputy of Acquittals to remind you of your white-blue purpose. If you do end up in this color combination or need some strong signals to help you, here are a few bombs that lend themselves nicely to the strategy. Blade Splicer, Restoration Angel, Cackling Counterpart, and Deadeye Navigator. All bonkers cards for this deck, so keep an eye out. Next up is Blue-Black Control, a less than straightforward archetype. The thing about Control Unlimited is that it has to have the depth to stop early game assaults, and then come over the top late game to demolish an opponent who has already given up hope. To do this, you need a decent amount of disruption and a solid top end, complemented by ways to get both of those things when you need them, along with incremental card advantage. Sounds complicated? Kind of. But in actuality, you just have to look for each of the three types of cards you need. Disruption, card manipulation, and bombs. We'll begin with Disruption. Removal is pretty easy to spot. Grisly Spectacle and Seal of Doom are great, and that's about it. Seriously. You'd have to go to rare for more solid removal options or multicolored cards, which means that disruption is coming from somewhere else this time around. And that somewhere else is discard. Modern Masters 2017 has one of the most savage discard packages I've ever seen in a set. With hand attack spells like Inquisition of Kozilek and Delirium Skeins, along with rare Powerhouse Mind Shatter and uncommon Bomb Abyssal Spectre, Black is looking to force discard in a big way. In addition to Black's hand attack, Blue is bringing along a mechanic we've seen many times before, Paralysis. Wall of Frost and Crippling Chill both help stem early bleeding and give you coveted time to get your plan in place for the late game. Blue-Black Control comes with an impressive amount of card filtering as well. From Compulsive Research to Forbidden Alchemy and from Mystical Teachings to Opportunity, there's no lack of card draw in the color. If you have answers, you should be able to find them, just make sure you draft enough of these key filtering cards. In a control deck, you're going to need the right answers at the right time or you'll just die. Now you have your disruption and your card filtering, which just leaves the bombs. The cards you need to win the game. We're going big for these, as it should be late game by the time you turn the corner and start dominating. Look for creatures like Spire Monitor, Dinrova Horror, and Moroi out of the non-rare slots to help fill out your top end. Remember, this archetype only comes together with disruption, solid filtering, and a top end, but if you get it all together, it is quite powerful. The next color pair we're going to look at is Black-Red. This archetype is designed around the Unearth mechanic, which means that you'll be focusing a lot on getting creatures into your own graveyard, then bringing them back for hasty damage and more sacrifice shenanigans. Honestly, this is going to be one of the more fun strategies. You have your solid Unearth creatures like Corpse Connoisseur, which searches for awesome graveyard-based creatures. Dregscape Zombie for easy synergies, and Grixis Slave Driver is great because it'll get you 2/2/2s on its way to exile. Once you have your death-loving creatures, get some sack engines. Vampire Aristocrat is decent, Bone Splinters is just fantastic all the time, and you have creatures like Falconwrath Noble and Gnawing Zombie to help poke away at your opponent's life total. All that's left? Even more recursion. With spell support like Entomber Exarch, Recover, Pit Keeper, and more, you shouldn't have a problem bringing back whatever you want. One thing I will say about this strategy is that it relies much more on black than red. Not that red doesn't have cards to offer, but your linchpin pieces are in black. As far as red is concerned, look for synergistic cards like Traitorous Instinct so you can sacrifice your opponent's creatures. Scourge Devil's an okay unearthed creature, Scorch Rusalka's alright if you have a lot to sacrifice, and Karthari Bomber is just plain good along with Torrent of Souls. There are other cards, but these are high priority comparatively. Next up is Red Green Beatdown with a token sub-theme. Another relatively straightforward archetype. In Modern Masters 2017, Wizards decided to add some solid token support to the already wide strategy. You have your normal red-green beat staples like Rubble Belt Maka, Hungry Spriggan, Slaughterhorn, and Gore-Clan Rampager, definitely in the red-green wheelhouse. But with added token support in Dragon Fodder and Goblin Assault, Wizards is looking to push creatures like Mog Flunkies and spells like Dynacharge. Instead of building vertically, this time red-green is building horizontally all the way. Of course, that doesn't mean it still won't aggro the heck out of someone. Madcap skills, Hanweir Lancer, and a flurry of removal make sure of that. All in all, red-green still does what it always has, but this time it comes with more multi-creature support. So keep that in mind before you pass on Dragon Fodder. Look for the synergies. The last supported color pair is white-green, and the mechanic is Populate, an incredibly popular mechanic back in Return to Ravnica Limited. The goal is to mass creatures and take advantage of said massing. We're talking way wider than red-green. That has some token support. Green-white has all the token support. Fists of Ironwood, Penumbra Spider, Slime Molding, and Vital Splice are all solid cards. Then you get into the ridiculous stuff like Call of the Conclave, Bronzebeak Moa, Wayfaring Temple, and Sundering Growth. As you can see, the archetype is well supported in the common and uncommon slot. I could actually sit here all day just naming cards that are amazing in this archetype. Eyes in the Skies for more tokens and Populate Intangible Virtue, because why not include one of the best token enchantments ever printed? Urbis Protector is absurd in everything, but especially in Populate. And you even get Wake the Reflections, a card so on the nose it literally just populates. What I'm trying to say is that out of all the supported ally color archetypes, far and away the most supported is green-white Populate. It really isn't even close at all. If you find yourself with a few solid, powerful Populate cards early on, run with it. You should be able to create quite the respectable deck given how much support there is in the set. It's actually really impressive. Now normally that would be the end of the video, but Wizards of the Coast went a step further. While the allied color pairs are the main focus for limited play, there is also third color support, specifically the shards from Alara. Now this is where things get a bit more complicated. There isn't a set rule on when you should or shouldn't go 3 colors, but I'll do my best to sum it up. You should almost always be in an allied color pair, that's just true. But past that, try to make sure you only splash for cards that are amazingly powerful or synergize with what you're doing. For instance, Tower Gargoyle, great top-end creature for a blue-black deck, or Sin Collector, monumentally powerful in a white-blue blink deck. Wizards made sure to include a number of these off-color cards to push players into splashing if they can. Sodraxis Spectre, amazing for black-red unearthed, just need to splash blue. Mystic Genesis, great for white-green Populate, splashing blue also. You see what I mean? So when you see these off-color cards, be sure that they synergize with what you're trying to do. One of the most important things to remember when drafting a master set is that the sum of your parts is more important than any individual piece. Synergy is more important than a single bomb. Always keep that in mind. Now if you're going to run 3 colors or even just 2 colors, you need to understand how important fixing is. This set comes with all the signets, and yes, they are high priority. If you are positive you're in a color pair, or you even think you could be, grabbing a signet relatively early is never a bad thing. Not only does it ramp, but it color fixes. And even if you get an off-color one, you can splash. It's so easy. Also, don't underestimate the Tri-Lands or Guild Gates. We're talking about a format that focuses on multicolor drafting. That's what the set's designed for. Don't expect your Guild Gates to wheel all that often. If the previous master sets are any indication, fixing your mana is near the top of the priority list. Don't forget that. Modern Masters 2017 promises to be a fun and exciting draft format, and I do hope that this guide helped you to prepare for release weekend. If you have any questions or want to talk more in depth about the draft format, please leave all your comments and questions below. We'll talk about it and help each other out. We're all in this together, am I right? Again, hopefully you enjoyed the video, and we'll be back all weekend with more Modern coverage that I know you want to see. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. This video is brought to you in part by TCGplayer.com. Right now, you can get yourself a box of the upcoming limited run set for only $215. That may seem like a lot, but with everything that's in it, you're getting a ton of value. Want to draft with friends? Click the link for the cheapest prices around. Helps to channel out. We all win. Enjoy.